Right now, something in this room is lying to your ears. A speaker has no voice, it has no throat, no breath, no mouth. Yet it can hand you a whisper, a drum beat, a whole roaring crowd. It does this with one trick, repeated thousands of times each second. A small cone pushing on the air. Let's slice one open and watch a flat electric signal turn into sound you can actually feel. It starts as electricity. Your phone or amplifier sends a current down two thin wires. This current is not steady. It wiggles up and down, growing stronger and weaker, flipping its direction many times a second. That wiggle is the music, drawn as a wave of voltage. The speaker's only job is to copy that wave with movement. Whatever the current does, the cone must do too. Faithfully, instantly, thousands of tiny changes every single second. The wires lead to a coil of fine copper wound around a light tube. We call it the voice coil. When current flows through any coil, it becomes a magnet with a north end and a south end. Send the current one way and one face turns north. Reverse it and that same face turns south. So as the music wiggles the current back and forth, the coil flips its magnetic poles back and forth in perfect time with the song. That coil sits inside a permanent magnet, not flipping, not changing, just a steady, heavy ring of magnetic force built into the back of the speaker. It forms a narrow gap, and the coil hangs right in the middle of it. Now we have two magnets close together. One is fixed and patient. The other is the coil, switching its poles in time with the music. And magnets, as you know, do not stay quiet near each other. Here is the heart of it. Like poles push apart, opposite poles pull together. When the coil turns north against the magnet's north, it is shoved outward. A blink later, the current flips, the coil turns south, and now it is pulled back in. Out, in, out, in. The coil rides forward and backward inside that gap, driven by nothing but switching magnetism. The electric wave has become motion, a tiny piston jumping in step with the song. The coil is glued to a cone, that wide paper or plastic funnel you see on the front. So whatever the coil does, the cone does, only bigger. When the coil shoves out, the cone bulges forward. When the coil pulls back, the cone scoops back in. It is the loudspeaker's hand, reaching out and drawing back, out and back, thousands of times a second, and pressed against that moving cone is something we forget is even there. Air. Air is not empty. It is a sea of tiny molecules packed loosely together. When the cone pushes forward, it crams the molecules in front of it tighter, a little patch of high pressure. When the cone pulls back, it leaves them thin and spread out, a patch of low pressure. Squeeze, release, squeeze, release. These pressure changes ripple outward through the room at the speed of sound, like rings spreading on a pond after a stone. Those ripples cross the room and reach you. Inside your ear waits a thin skin of tissue, the eardrum stretched tight like a drumhead. Each patch of high pressure presses it gently inward. Each patch of low pressure lets it spring back out. So your eardrum copies the cone's dance in reverse. The speaker pushed the air now pushes your ear. And your brain reads that flutter as a voice, a chord, a memory. That is hearing. How fast the cone moves decides the pitch. Move it back and forth slowly, a few dozen times a second, and you feel a deep bass rumble. Move it quickly, thousands of times a second, and you hear a bright, thin whistle. Musicians call this frequency. The speaker does not understand notes. It only obeys the wiggling current, fast or slow. Yet by simply matching that speed, it can sing every pitch your ear was ever built to hear. Loudness is about distance, not speed. A gentle signal nudges the cone a hair, moving a little air, a soft sound. A strong signal flings the cone far out and far back, shoving a lot of air, and the whole room fills. To survive this, the cone is held by a flexible rim and a ribbed spring called the spider. They let it travel freely, then pull it home to dead center every single time, so the next push starts clean. One problem remains. The cone pushes air forward, but it also pushes air backward, off its rear side. Those backward waves are upside down, and if they curl around to the front, they cancel the sound, and the bass goes thin and weak. So the cone is sealed into a box. The box traps the backward wave, keeping it from ever meeting the front. That plain wooden cabinet is not decoration. It is what lets you truly feel the low notes. So follow the whole path. A wiggling current arrives on 2 wires. It flows through the voice coil and turns it into a flipping magnet. That coil fights the permanent magnet, pushing and pulling, out and in. The motion drives the cone. The cone squeezes the air into pressure waves. The waves cross the room and shake your eardrum. Fast for high notes, far for loud ones, boxed in so the bass survives. Electricity into magnetism, into motion, into sound. No voice, no breath. Just a coil, a magnet, and a paper cone trembling in time with a wave of electricity. The next time music fills a room, picture that tiny piston jumping thousands of times each second, handing the air over to your ears. Simple parts. Quiet genius. That was the speaker. Thanks for watching The Cutaway. We'll see you on the next slice.